Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. All right, man. In a very telling and very interesting interview with Steven Jackson, Captain Jack, and Matt Borns on the show, All the Smoke. Great show. It's a podcast that's featured on Showtime, on YouTube. So just subscribe to it. Great channel, great content. But anyway, Stephen Curry was just talking about his career and where he is now as a player. And he said something that was very interesting. Now, everybody knows that Stephen Curry, 2009, was drafted number 7 overall out of Davidson. He came out the same draft with Blake Griffin. Stephen Curry went like number 7 and Blake Griffin went number 1. But Blake Griffin missed the entire 2009-2010 season because of an injury. But nevertheless, Stephen Curry basically was just talking about his career and where he is now, how he got to be where he is, and was talked about, the state of the Golden State Warriors. Basically, he healing up. Look, I don't think Stephen Curry is going to play this season. I don't think he should play this season. If I was Stephen Curry, I'd just sit out this whole season, rest. But he says his hand is healing fine. He said, he's still wearing the cast. Now, it's now January, getting close to February. So I feel like, hey, it's nothing to play for. Regroup. Regroup. You basically filling out the young nucleus. When you had the leadership of Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry, when they come back, and then I think the Warriors could sign a key free agent, which they will. I think the Warriors will be right back in it, you know. So this season, you just writing this season is just a write-off. I wouldn't even worry about it. Like I said, it's nothing for, Stephen Curry to play for. So I would just sit out the entire season. And keep in mind, the Warriors are definitely headed to the draft. So, but at the end of the day, he was talking about how he wanted to get drafted by the Knicks. And he thought he was going to the Knicks. Now, keep in mind, the Knicks drafted Johnny Flynn. I can't remember the other guy they drafted, but they drafted, for some reason, they drafted 2 point guards in that draft. And I was thinking to myself, I particularly had an interest in that draft because I had watched Stephen Curry. I watched Stephen Curry at Davidson, and I saw how good he could shoot. And I was like, man, this Stephen Curry kid can play. And I was like, and I was thinking, for some reason, I almost knew that the Warriors would draft Stephen Curry for some reason. And I ain't gonna say I manifested or none of that shit, and you know what I'm saying, but I was telling my stepdad and I was telling my brother, and we was all talking, and my brother agreed with me too. I said, if that Steph Curry dude is available at number 7, the Warriors should take him. I said, he the type of dude you could build a championship caliber team around. And people laughed at me and shit when I first said that. Because whether people like it or not, I know people want to give all the credit to other people, but it started with them drafting Steph Curry. That's just fact. And it was funny. You saw all these people get drafted, and then it get to number 7. And, I'm watching the draft, and, like I said, I told my brother, I don't think my brother was there, but I told him that the Warriors should draft Stephen Curry if he's available at number 7. So then I'm watching all that. I'm hoping the Knicks don't get him. And that's funny that he said that he wanted to go to the New York Knicks at first. But he said he had got the call from, the Warriors GM. So he knew where he was going. So I was thinking to myself, okay, now this is before, they call his name. So finally you get to the Warriors. And I'm like, okay, cool. Ricky Rubio gone, all that's insulting to think that Ricky Rubio got drafted ahead of Stephen Curry. But nevertheless, They get to number 7 and I'm sitting up. And then they say with the 7th pick of the 2009 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select Steph. I was like, yeah. And I knew when they drafted him, I knew their fortunes would change. And I was like, okay, now we on our way. So then, the Warriors started putting the pieces together. They drafted Stephen Curry, went on to draft Draymond Green, Harrison Barnes, Klay Thompson. They started putting together a team. So that's why it kind of be pissing me off when people try to bitch, whine, and moan about the Kevin Durant, because at the end of the day, the Warriors did build that team from scratch by drafting and signing free agents. That's what you're supposed to do. The Chicago Bulls didn't draft Dennis Rodman, so why everybody was bitching about them, signing KD? Like I said, Harrison Barnes left. It was a spot open. That's what they were supposed to do. But nevertheless, I'm glad it worked out for the Golden State Warriors. I'm glad it worked out for Stephen Curry because now 2 MVPs, 3 championship later, first ballot Hall of Famer. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It was all in the card for Stephen Curry. So if I was the Warriors organization, I would let Stephen Curry play his entire career at Golden State. For real. He should be able to stay as long as he wants. But anyway, that's all I have to say. This your boy Town Biz. I'm out.